Fizz, or as you might know him, that little fishy guy that always seems to get away. G'day guys, how you going? I'm Fizz, and this is an in-depth tips and tricks guide for Fizz. So sit up, take notes, and hopefully it'll help you step up your game. We'll start with Fizz's passive, Nimble Fighter. The unit collision ignore this gives is actually a lot more beneficial than you might think, in that it allows you to attack your opponent from angles they aren't necessarily used to. Try to trade autos with your enemy in minion waves as frequently as possible, as the auto attack damage negation applies to the minions as well, and will put you ahead in the majority of trades. Fizz's Q, Urchin Strike. Remember, it moves you a set distance, so you can use it to chase and escape. By using it next to an enemy, it'll create distance between you and them. You can use this distance to kite melee champions for cooldowns, as well as just plain running away. Your Q is off the auto attack cooldown, so try to use it immediately after an auto attack for extra efficiency. You can use Q on enemies over walls, but not on an enemy in front of a wall to push you over it. As this ability applies on-hit effects, getting an early sheen will skyrocket your trading potential. Fizz's W, Seastone Trident. With this active, it's important to remember that simply auto-attacking is part of what you need to do during a trade. Along with simply auto-attacking, it's very important to shred in auto whenever possible to keep the dot up. You really want to activate this before your Q lands, as your Q applies the on-hit effect given. You can actually cast this ability mid-Q. This is useful to add a little more surprise to an engage. You can also cast some other abilities mid-Q, but I'll get to that later on. Fizz's E, Playful/Trickster. Remember, it gives you 0.75 seconds of untargeted ability on the pole, not invincibility. Using this to dodge and prevent damage during fights is vital to good Fizz play, as he's obviously very squishy. In team fights, try using this at the start of the fight to dodge that typical AoE onslaught, and of course you need to be doing damage with it as well. As mentioned before, it doesn't make you invincible. Tethers like Fiddle's Drain and dots like Ignite will still damage you. The mobility this provides is insane. Don't be afraid to start roaming before level 6. Here's a few examples of walls on the rift that you can jump over. If you're feeling tricky, in some places you can actually use both jumps over walls for extra efficiency. For a quicker escape, you can use the first jump to get next to the wall and the second to get over it. You can also jump over a wall and then back to where you were to safely scout out areas, as well as being able to smite and place wards during the hop. Only use Trickster if you really need the range and know that you will hit it, as letting it run through will result in a very strong slow and AoE. And coming down off the pole, you can actually use Flash before you land to catch your enemy off guard. Fizz's R, Chum the Waters. Landing this ability is incredibly important, especially now that it amplifies your damage to the target. A good way to do this is through positioning. Try sneaking around the sides of fights to flank your enemies. Remember, you're an assassin, so act like it. Another good way to land it is to wait until you're in melee range. You can cast this mid-Q, but I'll get to that later in the combo section. Always remember to try cast it at full range, or you'll come up short awkwardly often. However, you can use it on the ground on purpose to zone certain areas if you want to. If you're new to Fizz, throw ultimates out more than you think you should, so you can get a feel of how and when to use them. Chum the Waters can actually hit and reveal enemy stealth units. A little quirk to this ability is that it does 6 damage while latched onto a target, in the form of a countdown from 3 to 1. Effective ability combos. Your typical harass combo is to Q and activate your W during cast, then auto attack your opponent until their abilities are about to come off cooldown and E away. Your kill combo is essentially the same, but you want to land your ultimate before the combo or after your Q so you can guarantee a hit. A little trick you can use is casting your ultimate mid-Q. This will prevent the animation for your ultimate and catch your enemy off guard. It can also be used to not only surprise your opponent, but to gain a little bit of extra range quickly to catch them out. A cheese strategy you can use is to take experienced quintessence runes, so you hit level 2 off the first wave. Then as soon as you hit level 2, go in for a QW combo and order them a few times. This should establish lane dominance for you and lead to an easy lane, if not a kill at level 3. I also want to briefly touch on how an assassin should make decisions in game. Know your damage output. At least attempt some sort of calculation so that you have a rough idea of if you'll be able to kill your opponent or not from one combo. Thanks for watching guys, don't forget to subscribe and comment on who you'd like to see in the next one. If you want to see more, click here to check out some of my other guides. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and learned something new. Have a good one. Cheers.